Welcome to SK University. Today's illumination is the Encelium Edge wireless lighting control system from Osram. When it comes to lighting controls, you need a system that is easily installed, provides a cost-effective solution, requires minimal and simple configuration that can be performed by anyone without special tools or training, and performs all of the functions necessary to meet energy codes. The Encelium Edge lighting control system meets all of those needs. Wireless connectivity reduces installation time and cost. Competitively priced components coupled with that lower installation cost makes for a cost-effective solution. Configuration is accomplished with a free intuitive app on your smartphone. The system has all of the functionality required to meet energy codes. The first component of an Edge system that we'll look at is the controller. It is a ceiling or wall-mounted control device that communicates with luminaire control modules, wall stations, and other devices via a mesh network based on the Zigbee standard. Each controller typically can control up to 100 nodes. The controller is the central intelligence point in the system and holds the system configuration. It collects information from photosensors, occupancy sensors, and wall stations. It then determines the appropriate brightness levels or on-off status for each fixture and zone. Sensors and wall stations do not directly control light levels. They are connected to the wireless network and provide information to the controller. The controller then determines what action to take based on that info. Multiple controllers can operate in a building without interfering with each other. Let's look at a typical office application. It has two 0 to 10 volt dimmable fixtures. We're going to need a way of controlling those fixtures. We'll use a wireless control module, or WCM, for that. The WCM provides line voltage switching and 0 to 10 volt dimming control of luminaires. It mounts on a knockout on a junction box or a fixture. The WCM has a green bus port as well. We'll talk more about green bus and what it's used for later on. So let's add a WCM to our office. Now we have control over our fixtures. We need to give the user a way to manage the lighting. A 2-button wireless wall station will work for that. Let's add that to our office. Tapping the top button will turn the lights on. Tapping the bottom button will turn the lights off. The light level can be raised by pressing and holding the top button, or lowered by pressing and holding the bottom button. Let's not forget that the controller makes all of this possible. When we press a button, the wall station communicates that event to the controller. The controller then determines what the fixtures need to do in response to that press and communicates that to the WCM. Let's have a look at what our options are for wall stations. Wireless wall stations run on batteries, and the type and number of batteries is determined by how we mount the wall station. By default, they are configured for wall box mounting. The surface mount kit is an available option and is useful in retrofit applications. The wall stations maximize battery life by only illuminating their LEDs when someone is close enough to see them. Wired versions receive their power and communicate with the system via a green bus connection, and we'll talk more about that in a bit. Let's swap our 2-button wall station for a 3-scene wall station. Let's gain control over each fixture individually by putting a WCM on each one. With the multi-scene wall station, tapping the scene button will recall the corresponding scene. Scene 1 is the default scene, meaning that is the scene that is recalled by time schedules and occupancy sensors when they turn lights on. A 2-button wall station has only one scene, Scene 1. The light levels for each fixture are set for each scene during the setup process. Pressing the on-off button when the lights are on will turn the lights off. Pressing the on-off button when the lights are off is the same as pressing scene 1. Raising and lowering light levels is accomplished with the dedicated Raise Lower button. Now let's look at another option we have for controlling fixtures. The Connected Lighting Module, or CLM, is a Zigbee transceiver with a 0 to 10 volt output that is designed to install in a fixture knockout. It is installed by the fixture manufacturer at the factory. The CLM allows fixtures to arrive on the job site ready to work with the system out of the box. This reduces the amount of labor required on site. Let's replace one of our fixtures and a WCM with a fixture that is factory equipped with a CLM. Because CLM-equipped fixtures come out of the box ready to work with the system, installation time and cost is reduced. Many fixture manufacturers offer CLM installation as an option, and we can facilitate that with the factory. We've mentioned GreenBus a couple of times. Now let's see what it is. Like all of the Edge components, the GreenBus 2 network is taken from Encelium's enterprise-grade Extend lighting control system. This means that if a customer installs Edge and then chooses to upgrade to Extend, every dollar they've invested in their system is preserved. The network utilizes 18-gauge unshielded 2-conductor cable. When used with Edge, GreenBus runs should be limited to a maximum of 20 feet. Both pre-terminated and bulk cable options are available. So what types of GreenBus devices are available for Edge? As we mentioned earlier, we can use wired wall stations with Edge as an alternative to the battery-powered wireless versions. Wired and wireless wall stations have the same appearance, so we can use both on a job and maintain a consistent look. In Edge applications where phase cut dimming is required, we can use the phase cut dimming module to handle those loads. The PCDM will automatically select whether to employ forward or reverse phase dimming based on load type. Let's replace our wireless wall station with a wired one. We can use the GreenBus port on our WCM to connect the wall station to the system. We now have a wireless system that doesn't rely on batteries. Now let's take a look at wireless sensor options. Encelium offers a wireless combination passive infrared occupancy and photo sensor. This sensor can be used in occupancy mode, which is auto on, auto off, or vacancy mode, which is manual on, auto off. 3 different coverage patterns are available. There are various mounting options including magnetic. That option allows the sensor to magnetically attach to the ceiling grid, making it easy to relocate the sensor if the configuration of the space changes. Let's add one of those wireless sensors to our office. We'll use the sensor in occupancy mode. The operating mode and the sensor timeout period are both easily set from the smartphone app. There's nothing to adjust on the sensor itself. The sensor also has photo sensing capability. This allows us to implement daylight harvesting. Daylight harvesting reduces the artificial light contribution to a space as the amount of natural light increases. When done properly, occupants should be unaware that this approach to saving energy is even happening. Now let's look at one more option for fixture control. The Wireless Area Lighting Controller, or WALC, can switch a 20 amp circuit on or off via an integrated high current relay, while setting the zone's overall light level with a 0 to 10 volt dimming output. Like the WCM, it offers a GreenBus port to allow for the use of wired wall stations or the phase cut dimming module. Additionally, it has a connection for a conventional 3-wire occupancy sensor. Let's swap out our WCM for a WALC. Like with the WCM, we'll use the GreenBus port to connect to our wall station. Because the WALC has that additional connection point for a conventional 3-wire occupancy sensor, we can swap out our wireless sensor for a wired one. This gives us the benefit of removing batteries from the application, as well as gaining the option to use power-hungry, ultrasonic, or dual technology sensors. Encelium offers an array of single and dual technology sensors in both ceiling and wall mount styles. If we need both ultrasonic occupancy sensing and daylight harvesting, we can always add a wireless sensor back in and only use the photosensing capability of that sensor. Plug load control is becoming a requirement in more parts of the country as states adopt newer versions of energy codes. Edge can support that. The Wireless Plug Load Control Module, or WPL, is an individually addressable device that controls loads up to 20 amps by switching an integrated high current relay rated for 120 to 347 volts. It mounts directly to a knockout on a workbox. All of the same triggers that we use to control fixtures, including wall stations, sensors, and schedules, can be used to switch plug loads as well. So let's add a WPL to handle our plug load switching. Another common code requirement is to react to demand response commands from a building management system or utility interface. We have a solution for that. The Wireless Automated Demand Response Module, or WADR, provides a cost-effective way to reduce electricity bills during peak demand periods when electricity is priced at a premium. Demand response is activated by a contact closure from another system or device. A typical demand response would be to dim all lighting loads by a certain percentage. That percentage is configurable by area with Edge. Up until now, we've been looking at how to control a single office. But we can scale this to an entire floor or building, with the Edge controller being able to control up to 100 nodes. And remember that we can put as many Edge systems in a building as we need. If you need to control exterior lighting, we have answers for that as well. The Wireless Site Lighting Control Module, or WSLC, extends the Edge system's control capability to a building's surroundings or site such as parking lots and pathways. The WSLC installs on top of a light pole via an ANSI C136.41 compliant 3, 5, or 7-pin twist lock connector. It supports 0 to 10 volt dimming and an external occupancy sensor. For any exterior lighting that is switched from within the building, remember that we can use a WALC or WPL to switch a 20 amp circuit. Let's add some site lighting and a WSLC to our application. The Edge controller can switch site lighting based on astronomic time schedules with or without offsets. We've seen all of the components of the system, but how do we configure it? Configuration is easy using your smartphone. Encelium provides an intuitive free app for iOS and Android devices. No computer or special programming hardware is required. Each device is uniquely identified by a 2D barcode. That barcode appears on the device label. It also appears on a removable label that is meant to be placed in the barcode logbook. In the app, we define an area and then scan the barcodes for the devices in that area. An area is a space where a group of devices all interact with each other. That translates to an office, conference room, hallway, etc. Each one of those is an area. Once that area is defined and we've scanned the barcodes for the corresponding devices, we need to define how the area operates. That means setting fixture levels and plug load status for scenes. Defining how daylight harvesting should work if we choose to enable it. Setting our time schedules if we're using them. Setting the operating mode and timeout for our sensors. And if we have demand response, how each area will react to that. We have some tools to aid us in troubleshooting the system. The wiring test tool is a key fob that allows installers to check their wiring. It works on unconfigured devices, which would be the case after wiring, but before someone gets on site with the app to configure the system. When a button on the tool is pressed, Any unconfigured fixture or plug load controller within range will cycle on and off and run through a dimming cycle if dimming is possible. This allows installers to check their wiring before system configuration. The Setup app has the ability to wink or flash configured devices. This is helpful when setting up areas with multiple fixture or plug load controllers. Each one can easily be identified by winking. Thank you for spending time with us today. We hope you found this illumination helpful. If you have any questions or would like additional information, please contact your SK & Associates salesperson. Have a great day.